Less than 7 months before the Rivian R2 officially enters production, and the excitement around this vehicle is building faster than ever. Every week we're seeing new images, new test footage, and new hints at just how close Rivian is to bringing the R2 into the real world. And if you've been following the EV space at all, you already know this moment is a big one, not just for Rivian, but for the entire electric SUV segment. What immediately grabbed my attention were the newest photos Rivian shared, a whole pack of R2s driving out in the wild on US roads, not one or two, but a group, almost like they want us to know these things are no longer early prototypes. They're maturing, they're multiplying, they're being tested aggressively. It's the clearest sign yet that Rivian is nearing the final stages before production. And this isn't the first time the R2 has been spotted in the real world. People have been catching glimpses for months now. Rivian has even responded to sightings online, acknowledging that yes, they know we're watching closely. But one recent moment really stood out, an R2 quietly pulling into a Tesla Supercharger station and topping up with native charging support. Seeing that wasn't just cool, it was symbolic. It confirmed that Rivian committed early to making the R2 fully compatible with the charging network that dominates North America. The charge port location, driver's side rear, means it aligns perfectly with Tesla's most common supercharger layout. That wasn't always the plan, and honestly, early complaints about the port placement were everywhere. Rivian adjusting that shows they're listening and optimizing for convenience. And with most superchargers still being V3 stalls, Rivian made the smart choice to integrate seamlessly into the charging infrastructure people actually use today, not someday in the future. Right when I thought the updates couldn't get better, Rivian's CEO shared another photo, an R2 towing another R2, almost like a teaser for what the final tow rating might end up being. This came shortly after sightings of Rivian tow testing a Kia EV9, clearly part of validating the R2's towing capabilities. It leaves a lot of questions on the table, but one thing is obvious, Rivian is in full testing mode, and they want this SUV to be capable beyond just daily commuting. But the biggest detail wasn't in the pictures, it was in the caption. Rivian casually dropped a bombshell. Hundreds of production-intent R2 builds are rolling off their pilot line for real-world testing and validation. Not dozens, hundreds. That level of volume means they are deep into durability testing, data collection, fine-tuning software, calibrating sensors, and ironing out anything that needs tightening before day one of true mass production. One specific photo caught my eye. 4 R2s parked side by side, and zooming in, there it was, one with a white interior and another with a black interior. Simple, clean, expected. Rivian isn't going the minimal Tesla route, but for the mainstream trims, rear-wheel drive and dual-motor versions, this simplicity makes sense. The R2 will likely offer additional premium interiors for higher-end variants, much like the premium finishes available on the upper trims of Rivian's R1 models. But the standard configurations? White or black. Straightforward, familiar, easy to build, easy to maintain. The exterior design also reinforces what Rivian is aiming for, a boxier, rugged-inspired mid-size SUV intended to compete against the Model Y, Mach-E, Ioniq 5, and others in the segment. But the Model Y is really the benchmark here. Whether people like Tesla or not, the Model Y is a phenomenon. It sells because it nails convenience, efficiency, software, and charging. Rivian knows that if the R2 can match those strengths while offering a more adventurous, distinctive form factor, the R2 instantly becomes a compelling alternative. And honestly, the market is begging for more choices. The R1S already proves that Rivian knows how to build desirable SUVs. The demand speaks for itself, especially in states like California and Washington. But the R1 lineup plays in the premium tier. The R2 is Rivian's first truly mass-market swing, their Model Y moment. Not to steal customers away from Tesla necessarily, but to convert the millions of drivers still clinging to gas-powered 4Runners, RAV4s, Foresters, and similar vehicles. Those are the drivers who could easily fall in love with an electric SUV once they have a rugged, practical alternative. Personally, I'm counting down the days. My current lease ends in mid-2026, and my goal is to slide right out of my current truck and into an R2 without missing a beat.
the timing almost feels perfect. The production story behind the R2 deserves as much attention as the vehicle itself. Back in July, Rivian had already completed the exteriors of the new R2 General Assembly building and the supplier park next to it in Normal, Illinois. Since then, they've been working on all the internal systems, wiring, plumbing, tooling installation, everything needed to prepare a factory to produce a new model. Rivian openly confirmed that hundreds of R2 units have already been built at their pilot line in Irvine, California. Pilot builds exist for one purpose: refinement. And considering how many they're producing, it strongly suggests Illinois is close to initiating its own pilot production phase. Once that happens, things accelerate fast. Pre-production vehicles start flowing, regulatory agencies receive units, supplier testing intensifies, crash testing, durability cycles, environmental stress testing, it all scales up massively. And part of this preparation includes a fascinating piece of infrastructure, a tunnel being built underneath a 4-lane road connecting the new supplier park to the R2 assembly building. This tunnel allows parts to move directly from supplier operations to Rivian's assembly line without needing to cross public traffic. Seeing construction progress on that tunnel shows how much behind-the-scenes effort is happening to make R2 production smooth from day one. The strategy becomes even more interesting when considering that Rivian's Illinois factory is currently paused while they're integrating the new R2 production systems. This pause means they are fully committing resources to bring R2 assembly online. Both R2 and R1 vehicles will share components such as the Maximus drive unit and paint systems, so integrating those processes is a major undertaking. Once everything is installed, tested, and synchronized, the production countdown truly begins. Zooming out and looking at the production ramp, Rivian has a clear plan. When R2 production begins in the first half of 2026, it will start with a single 8-hour shift per day. By late 2026, a second shift brings production to 16 hours. And by the end of 2027, Rivian expects all 3 shifts running, 24 hours of non-stop manufacturing. That's when the R2 reaches full production momentum. The big question is, how many R2s will Rivian build in its first full year, 2026? The answer depends on ramp efficiency, supplier readiness, and how quickly the second shift scales. It will also influence how much R1 production slows or adjusts as the factory prioritizes R2 volume. But whatever the number ends up being, demand is already shaping up to be massive. The truth is, the R2 represents a turning point. For Rivian, it's their most important vehicle launch yet. For EV buyers wanting something rugged, practical, and well-engineered, it may become the most appealing option in the entire segment. And for the broader EV transition, it brings even more competition and choice, exactly what the industry needs to accelerate adoption. As production gets closer, more test vehicles will hit the streets, more prototypes will leak out, more photos will surface, and soon enough, the first customer R2s will start rolling off the line in Normal, Illinois. What are you most looking forward to with the R2? Do you think the first full year of production will surpass expectations, or will the ramp be slower than people hope? And how do you think increasing R2 volume will influence R1 production? There's a lot to unpack, and the next few months are going to be full of updates as Rivian races towards the start of production. I'm excited, and if the past few weeks of sightings are any indication, the R2 era is about to get very real.